Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the first British Boxing Blog podcast of 2018. You've got myself, Stephen, and...
That'll be me, Andrew. Thanks for that intro, smooth as ever.
That'll be him. Yes, so it's probably the first one we've done, I think, since mid-December. We've been quiet lately, but, you know, that's just due to Christmas and New Year and just boxing shutting down. But as we've just been talking off camera, off microphone here, that, you know, everything's getting a bit busy again now.
We wasted a good quarter of an hour of decent material there. Half it could have gone in.
I know.
A lot of it would have got cut, never mind that. But
no, it seems like boxing's back and we've got fights.
I think it's nice for us to be back as well. Cause
it is.
I know we've both said to each other, oh, we'll get back in, we'll do this, we'll record a podcast, or we'll get something online. And it's not like we haven't seen each other over Christmas either. Being related, we're spending Christmas Day and Boxing Day together.
It's funny because we've got a lot of messages from people saying, "Oh, are you still going? Are you still, you know, what's happening? Why are you so quiet?" And we didn't actually realise, you know, we were still about. We were on Twitter and stuff.
It's only been a few weeks, really, but
we just I think just had a bit of time off.
It was flattering though, to be fair.
It was
actually saying, "Oh, where have you been? And are you coming back?"
Thanks for asking about us. But no, it was just a bit of time off over Christmas, you know, and just recharge after a busy end of last year. But no, it's good to be back. As I said before, boxing sort of flying at the minute. It seems like every day is a different fight announcement, a different press conference.
I think that's what really pushed us to do this, and it's coming on a Friday night, which is unusual for us. Normally wait till a Sunday, but we thought we'll preview a bit of this weekend's boxing on the international stage.
Yeah.
There's that much to go through. I think there's been, as you just said there, with every announcement it was like, oh god, there's going to be more to fit in on the first podcast, we had to get it done today rather than Sunday.
We're both sitting here with a boxing calendar, you know, the major fights confirmed so far in 2018.
Very professional there, 2018, I like it.
It's almost going on to a second page, busy times ahead, but, you know...
So out of what we've got on this sort of little calendar in front of us,
yeah, sure.
What would your highlight be? We'll start with that. And this goes all the way up to May, by the way, so we won't be going in that much detail.
This goes up to Bellew Hay, so from basically Spence Peterson to Bellew May. We highlight this. Bellew Hay in May. We highlight, I think the obvious one, you've got to look at, you know, Joshua Parker's finally over the line and confirmed heavyweight unification clash, Cardiff, massive stadium fight. You know, I think it was always going to get done. I think it makes perfect sense to do this fight now. You know what I mean? It's, as you say, it is.
Do you think that Parker's maybe cashing out his belt? He's sort of gone for the highest bidder?
Possibly, yes.
Saying that, I think it's the biggest fight out there in terms of pure boxing as well.
Yeah.
Obviously, Wilder and Ortiz are both tied up. Tyson Fury we've covered in great depth. He's
of course,
slightly closer with his licence being sort of renewed today, but in terms of the timings of it, I think it makes sense for both men. And it would be nice if Parker, having had a good amateur background and, you know, fought at a decent level already, comes out and actually gives it a go.
I'd like to think he would. I think he's
rather than getting
he's a live opponent. Obviously, he's one of the heavyweight champions of the world. But
I think that's the Joshua factor, isn't it? You talk about, as I say, another world champion, another belt holder as just being a live opponent. I think the biggest danger is maybe if he gets a little bit overawed by it all and clams up. But
I think it's
the goal that like Carlos Takam.
That's what I was saying.
How he lasted.
Will the Takam fight give Parker some hope? Do you think? Give some confidence and
he's rugged enough. He's durable. There's no reason that he can't take it into the later rounds. And I think with AJ's stamina issues or
definitely
question marks, shall we say? Because you don't know if there are issues or not. It's hard to fight at a good pace for 12 rounds for anyone.
Yeah.
But that'll be one of the sort of factors. It'll be quite interesting to see how Joshua copes, if Parker can set a high pace and keep going for the majority of the fight.
No, definitely. I think it is a good fight. It's a fight, obviously you expect Anthony Joshua to win it, we all do. You know what I mean?
But definitely.
I think for now, you know, it is a unification clash, and the Wilder fights obviously doesn't look like it's anywhere near being made. He's got Ortiz, Fury. Let's not go down that route yet. But so for now, I think it was a perfectly good fight, and you know, you forget, I guess, sometimes that it's, what was it, Joshua's 20th fight, 21st.
This will be his 21st.
21st, and
maintained the sort of 20 knockout streak with the fortunate stoppage of Takam.
Unfortunately, but I think it's just the AJ train rolls on, and let's see how it goes again. You know, box office, Cardiff again.
I think one particular point of interest would be AJ's weight, whether he's deliberately sort of came in a bit heavier against Takam.
Did I say Rob McCracken say he wants to get him down a bit?
Yeah, he was. I think I heard that on the Toe to Toe podcast. There was an interview with McCracken, or might have been on the BBC one actually. There's a couple I've listened to this week, and he was saying that wants to maybe, not that he was particularly bothered about it the last time, which makes me think with Pulev pulling out and obviously Takam being the opponent, did they make a conscious decision to just let AJ not beef up as such, but not bother cutting as much?
Yeah, maybe.
Knowing that Takam wasn't going to be moving much around the ring, wasn't going to have to carry that extra weight too far. Whereas with Parker, maybe he wants him that little bit quicker and is going to try and box a bit more. But it's one of those things that will be interesting to see with it.
No, it will be. I'm looking forward to it. It'll be interesting to see who's on the undercard as well. See who gets on that maybe.
And see if Joe Cordina actually gets out of the card.
I think Eddie Hearn promised to a fight this time, so let's hope so. Another fight that caught my eye, for a while actually, is probably Matchroom's first show of the year, a Coley Chamberlain, which I think that for me, whether it's O2 headline worthy or not, I don't know. I don't know what the ticket sales have been like.
No, it's not. I'll tell you that now.
It's not. But if it sells out, or if it's close to selling out, then is it? If you know what I mean.
Yeah, I mean that's always going to be the thing, isn't it? If it shifts the tickets and they go to the fans and the arena's packed, then
I think it's caught on the longer it's been announced, and I think it seems like a genuine rivalry. It's both two unbeaten fighters, and I think it's the type of fight that Matchroom should be making. Do you know what I mean?
Oh,
two
without doubt.
Stable fighters.
I think if that fight was on the support of an AJ card, for example, then you'd be getting no arguments about it.
Or headlining in a smaller venue. I don't want to say your call, but
I think your call would have been alright for it. Yeah.
Is it a copper box? You know, not that.
No. The benefit of a Coley Chamberlain being the main event, I think it's not going to break the bank for that fight to get put on. They might be paying a bit over the odds for where they are in their careers, but
I think
in contrast to an AJ event where you're paying so much for the headline that there's not a lot left to go around the rest of the card, there should be some quality support to that.
Well, I think they had that date booked at the O2 initially for Dillian White, but obviously that's dragged on. We'll discuss him in a bit. He's now got Lucas Brown on the 24th of March. So obviously they've kept the venue and they've rolled the dice with these two and see, can we fill it, and let's see how it goes. But I think it's a genuine grudge match too. We love it. I think every boxing fan loves it when fighters put the unbeaten record on the line.
That's what's more intriguing,
and so they should as well.
More of an interest for me than the tagline British beef.
Yeah,
I honestly couldn't care less if they don't like each other or if it gets hyped or whatever. But you've got two, as you say, unbeaten prospects. Probably
that's the key point for
English title level, maybe fringe British level, and putting it on the line early in the careers. And
some people say, "Why do it now? Let it build up, and I completely disagree.
I'm with you there.
I think now's the perfect time.
Get it on the line. It's early enough for either of them, even if they get knocked out badly. They'll have time to bounce back from it. And look at Groves de Gale. I know
it doesn't make them a
slightly different
overnight.
in the fact that was such a close result, but both men went their separate ways and then won world titles in the future off the back of it. It hasn't halted any of the momentum. De Gale lost the fight. Obviously, there's a lot of debate still to this day whether he did lose to Groves. But he lost that one on the scores and in the result, and was still a world champion sooner than Groves. So it just shows that a solitary defeat isn't the end of the world, especially early in your career.
I totally agree with you. I think now is the perfect time to do it. You're both young, you're both hungry. Whether you like each other or not, we'll assume they don't, but whatever.
There probably is a bit of rivalry there. I don't know if it's the hatred that it's sort of been made out to be. And
if not now, then when? Two London fighters fighting in the O2. Coley's been a good amateur, he's had it, but they've probably both been good amateurs. They've had the apprentice fights. The genuine rivals in the same division.
I think there's a nice rivalry there, and a genuine bit of needle probably stems from the fact that Chamberlain's been pro longer, as you say. He's still undefeated. He's come through some good fights, beat Wadi Camacho, the southern area.
He sort of goes under the radar,
and hasn't had the hype.
That's my point.
You could probably put that down to the Olympian.
He's not an Olympian. He's not on Sky.
That's who Hearn seems to be really pushing at the moment. He's either got his big names and he's Olympians, and they get.
Well, as you've seen on Sky over the Christmas, they've all had their own show on Sky Sports, Mix or Action or whatever it was. The Dare to Dream or Rise Journey So Far, something probably like that. Hasn't.
Oh, he definitely hasn't, but he's probably more proven out of the two at the early stages. He's done the sort of small hall way of building up, if you like.
Yeah, completely has. Yeah, agreed.
I think. I was going to say, are we going into predictions this early, or are we going to leave that?
We'll not do it yet. I've got a feeling where you're going to go with this, but we'll see we'll do it the week before that fight.
Yeah, we'll save that one for any listeners out there, so you'll have to tune in again.
Just to sum up that one, as I think we both agree that I think it's the perfect time for them to do it, and why not? Now is the time, and I think both the two fighters and Matchroom should be commended really for making that. Whether it's not O2 worthy or not. Sorry, it's happening. So let's be grateful it's happening.
Let's be honest. Unless we get a press pass for it, I'm not going to be venturing down. I don't particularly care where it is. If I'm sitting watching on Sky, I don't mind if it's in an empty O2 or in a packed Joe call.
That's it.
It makes no odds to me.
There is fighters I like on the undercard.
They're both going to be in the ring.
Yeah, Ted Cheeseman fight against Carson Jones is a good yardstick for Cheeseman, isn't it?
I think it is. Yeah, I've been impressed with Cheeseman. What I've seen so far, he's
the big cheese.
He's
smell my cheese.
Your mother.
Partridge. Reece Pilotti's on there as well. But yeah, I like Cheeseman from what I've seen so far. He looks
quite solid. He's got a decent skill set, good power, and obviously it's probably a bit of a step up for him. Carson Jones.
The names of Carson Jones.
He's almost laughable in the sense that a lot of people think,
he's bring him back over.
Yeah, he's been over that many times now. He's obviously fought Kell Brook twice, Brian Rose twice. Who did he beat last time? He beat was it Ben Jones? Was that
Ben Hall?
Ben Hall possibly.
Ben Hall, I think so. That's it. I forgot about that fight.
So yeah, he's not a bad opponent.
For the best name on Cheeseman's
a prospect.
Definitely.
We obviously went quite life and death with Antonio Margarito as well recently.
Apparently
rubbed on the scorecards or rubbed over that.
So he's still an active fighter then?
As I say, for someone of Cheeseman's standing, and it's a good test.
And he comes to win as well, he's not just here to get paid.
If Cheeseman comes through that and beats him well, possibly stops him with the power he's got, or beats him comfortably, then that's quite a big statement for him where he's at.
We're about a fortnight away from that, aren't we? So we'll probably look at that, I guess, in more detail next week. And
we'll do a full preview on that and breakdown. And
we might do a Northeast predictions piece on that and get a few fellas from up here to see how they think Cody Chamberlain goes on. So
not even Northeast, we'll see.
Anyone wants to join in, you join in. Right, working down the list, finally Callum Smith, Jürgen Bremer was confirmed. Well, not confirmed, we know it's going to happen, but finally the fight date was confirmed and the venue was confirmed. It is in Germany after all this talk of Team Smith weren't happy.
Well, having just said that I'm not particularly bothered on venues and things, I'm more pleased that that's happening in Germany. Well, definitely than Team Smith are. Yeah. But I think had that happened in Liverpool or anywhere neutral, I'd have strongly favoured Callum Smith.
But the Scotland fight was in Liverpool, so what was the fuss about it? Because
this one isn't, basically, because he hasn't got that home
advantage. I thought that was just all a bit naff me from everyone, I think.
I think the fact that it's in Germany gives... And it doesn't give Bremer the edge, because I'd still consider Smith the strong favourite. But it just adds a little bit, and you think, now he's the away fighter for the first time in his career. He's going to have to go over there and really put on a performance.
It's fascinating, Callum Smith. You sort of forget about him as well, I guess, because it seems like a long time ago now that he was fighting for world title eliminators, and it's just like, his career's... I don't want to say stalled, but he's flirted with world titles and world title level.
I think, at WBC, or at least like a number one contender for about 2 years.
Yeah, but he is in the Super Series, and he obviously beat Scotland, and obviously...
You'd think he'd beat Bremer, and then obviously he's got the winner of...
If he is genuinely world class, and we expect a lot of people have bigged him up as a world champion for a long time.
By the time he goes to Germany, we will know out of Eubank and Groves who he's going to be fighting.
Definitely. I do expect Callum Smith to win it. I'm pleased it was announced, because there was a lot of rumours over the Christmas period. He's going to pull out, and it's why is it taking so long to make the announcement and stuff? But it's finally. It has been made.
I think we'd said before as well the fact that there haven't been any pullouts. It's gone relatively smoothly.
Refreshing, isn't it?
It's nice in that you want it to do well as a concept, because it's inevitably, hopefully, going to lead to the best fighting the best.
And I like it that the two semis for this. Obviously you've got the cruiserweight ones in consecutive weeks, the 27th and 3rd of Jan, and obviously this you've got Eubank Groves 17th of Feb, followed the week. Immediately after by Bremer Smith.
It provides a bit of anticipation. You're not thinking, Groves Eubank's been decided. Now we've got to wait another 3 months for the other semi. You're both sorted, and then
it's on the bounce, isn't it?
As you say, within that sort of couple of weeks of each other, you're then waiting for the final, because you know who's going to be fighting in the final.
Whereas I think that differentiates it a bit from the Super 6. Do you know what I mean? That was too spread out, wasn't it?
The format of that was bizarre. They had a sort of little league table at the start, and then went into was it semi-final format or knockout format, and
I think
it was too long. It went on for too long. There was injuries. You had pull-outs and seemed very problematic from the start, whereas this one, touch wood, so far has gone very smoothly.
You did just touch the wood.
Yeah, I lean over and touch the top of the drawers.
But no, I don't think you'll find many critics at all about the Super Series, and if there is some, I'd like to know what their criticisms are. Cause I think
what could they do better?
Alright, you could talk undercards because they haven't got the backing of a major. You know, you're not going to get your matchroom stars on there and stuff.
I think the one thing they could have done was maybe have like a cruiserweight bout and a super middle on the same card, possibly.
Did the quarterfinals have to be pay-per-view?
Then you talk about the money, and is that their decision or is that ITV? Like, if ITV have bought the rights for it,
they can do what they want. I guess.
Do they then? Is it up to them whether they put it on ITV4 or on a pay-per-view platform?
But no, I do expect Callum Smith to win that fight. But I was just, I was touching on it just because, it was nice to put to bed those rumours of pullouts and not happy with this and fighting in Germany. And my thoughts on it is, Callum Smith, he's on the way, hopefully, maybe, to being an elite fighter. He's an elite amateur. He's probably boxed all over the world. You know what I mean? Him and Joe Gallagher, they should back, and I'm sure they do because they've took they're doing it. But they should back themselves to go to Germany.
I imagine they will. What I mean? As I say, he'd be the favourite of the bookies.
Was that just mind games from Joe Gallagher? Was it just Joe Gallagher being Joe Gallagher? Oh, I don't like the fight in Germany, and it's like, come on, man. You know what I mean?
Like, you've just had one in Liverpool.
Exactly.
Over there.
You brought Scotland over here without even.
And again, if Smith is, as you say, at the level he's at, he's probably going to fancy himself to stop Bremer, not just beat him. And I don't really buy that. If you've got to knock him out to get a draw over there and things like that.
I don't buy that.
It's no worse than England really in terms of home decisions and even though Bremer is technically a Sauerland fighter, he's going to be the home fighter. I think because it's in the Super Series, there's not going to be that normal level of he's going onto a German card, fighting in Germany, fighting a German boxer. It wouldn't do the Super Series any good if there was a dodgy decision in it.
No,
if there's a complete robbery. People are going to. That's going to be one thing where people switch off from it a bit.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Because they'll be thinking, oh well, Bremer's going to fight to be in the final, but he shouldn't be.
Yeah.
So I think in terms of the judges and things, there's not going to be that normal bias.
It's up to Callum Smith to go and show that he's good enough and really clearly win it, isn't it? Do you know what
definitely.
I mean? I expect him to do that. Do you?
Oh, 100%. We'll be backing Smith there.
Keeping on the Super
Series. Saying that, I thought that Robert Brandt or whatever his name was going to go and give Bremer problems.
Well, that's it. I know.
Jürgen rolled back the years.
Right, that's right. Keeping with the Super Series, any of the other semis and the cruiserweight?
I think both the cruiserweight ones. You've got Usyk and Bradis. That's 27th of January. I can see here according on the calendar.
ITV box office.
And then, as you say, the other one, Gassiev. I think Gassiev Dortkos will be an absolute war for as long as it lasts.
Yep.
Both of those big hitters. I'm thinking in my head I was going to say I'd favour Gassiev slightly.
Same.
But Dortkos did absolutely a number on Kudryashov. Absolutely destroyed him. Won the knockouts of the year last year. So I think that one has the sort of appeal of there's going to be a knockout. I can't see that going the distance at all. Usyk Bradis, I think I'd favour Usyk. I favour him before the tournament started to win the whole thing. I still stick with that. Bradis is good, but he hasn't impressed me in his last couple. I saw him live actually when he beat Simon Vallily. In the Liverpool, it was on a Callum Smith undercard. Going back to Callum Smith. It was one of those. I thought, we've got Vallily prospect against another unbeaten fighter. I hadn't really seen anything of Bradis until then, and since then you sort of think, take notice. And he's had some good wins. Again, you'd favour Usyk, I think, maybe on points, possibly late stoppage, depending on how one-sided it gets. But then I think the appeal of the cruiserweight one is that whoever wins that's going to end up with all of the belts, if not most of, I think all of them.
Yeah.
And is generally going to be the man at.
It's been great the cruiserweight one. I think it's
because I think
it's one of those divisions.
It's the division where there's a lot of really top level fighters, but without the sort of massive reputations.
Much maligned at times. Maybe that's just in this country. I don't know. But
I think because there's not that one big name, there's no superstar in the division. Usyk could be that.
But did RVT make move up?
Well, you'd think so, because I mean, if he wins that, whoever wins it, what else have they got left to prove at £200 cruiserweight limit?
No, you're right.
Obviously, David Hay did it a while ago. cleaned up the division, unified. Terence Crawford's done it, winning all 4 belts at super lightweight.
I feel like I'm at the cruiserweight limit after Christmas, not doing it.
Oh no, I need to get back on the road. Any of the boxing coaches who sort of I did a minimal training with before Christmas, I apologise. I'll be coming back.
Any of the North East coaches want to beast us and get us in shape, then be my guest. We'll write it up on the website.
Okay.
We'll keep a diary. Day 1, can't move. No, but
Day 1, managed to get to the gym.
Who knows on day 1 will be. No, but just I love Super Series and all for it, and it'd be interesting to see what they come up with next.
Well, again, as I say, why I think the cruiserweights worked so well, I think will probably hinder a couple of the other divisions.
Yeah,
I know we sort of put it out there. Which divisions would people like to?
We floated light heavy about, didn't we?
Light heavy because it's again you've got
the name, you got the depth.
Those sort of quality fighters without the massive reputation and therefore without the massive purses. Doing it at heavyweight or even something like welterweight, featherweight, with the big names you've got at those divisions, they're making massive money anyway. So why would they risk their reputation in a sort of knockout winner takes all format if they're not going to be getting compensated massively for it? Whereas the cruiserweights, they've got almost nothing to lose.
That's true.
They're not making massive purses, so they're probably getting more money out of the Super Series than they would normally.
Yeah.
And they're getting the chance to fight the best.
That's a good point, actually. Right, let's have a look down the list.
Well, one that got announced today. What was your immediate reaction with Billy Joe Saunders defending his title against Martin Murray?
Your reaction was scathing that you weren't impressed at all. I think
I've mellowed slightly in the 3 hours since, but
I think I've seen it. I was at work and flicking through Twitter, and there it was about 4 o'clock. I thought, it grabs your attention because it's an all English British.
Yeah, they always
attract
a genuine level of interest.
And I honestly, I don't want to say this disparagingly at all. I honestly don't mean it that way, but I sort of forgot Martin Murray existed. Right? You know what I mean?
No offence, Martin, but
and hey, there's probably me and you have both been Martin Murray fans over the years, but I guess that's my point. Over the years, those Felix Sturm fights and Martinez fights seem a long time ago now, and you know what I mean.
Oh, they are.
They are a long time ago. They are a long time ago, and he signed with Matchroom, and he's been more chances.
He's been up to super middleweight, back down in that time.
He's back down. Brave effort against Golovkin. Beat a few.
Brave effort against Martinez. Brave effort against. Brave effort against.
Fought Abraham or not? Did he or not?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, fought Abraham. Fought George Groves.
Fought a few puddings.
I know that wasn't a world title one, but he's.
How many world title shots does he deserve this world title shot? Where's he been? I guess
he's debatably not. And the thing is, he won't get slated anywhere near as much as someone like Paul Smith, for example.
Because he's a likeable bloke, Martin.
And I think Murray has proved himself that he can mix it, and he's been above British level for a long time. Probably is like fringe world level. If you're a world champion, you're Billy Joe Saunders, and you defend against Murray, it's sort of a decent name on your record for Saunders. It's a sort of keep busy fight.
Surely I think
there are bigger names and better names out there that he could have fought. When you sort of hear him, see the way he beat Lemieux, and then linked straight away Golovkin, Canelo, he's going to fight the winner of that. Danny Jacobs, I know there's the Matchroom thing there, but
I think you touched on something there though, and you said keep busy, and I think it's really refreshing now to see Billy Joe Saunders just stringing fight after fight together.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Massively
to announce his next fight or a month after his last one and just bang now. I know
it's what he needs. It's what he's needed for a long time.
It's exactly what he needs. I always touch on it when I've seen him defend against. I'll just call him the Russian fella in I can't remember his name, in Paisley Leisure Centre,
wasn't it? Akafov.
That's the one. And he was just not very good at all that night, and he'd been out of the ring, he was just not good. But since he's went to Sheffield, he seems absolutely rejuvenated, doesn't he, with Dominic Ingle? But and I think it's great for him that it's just great to see him stay active, because he's one of the. He said himself that he's one of those fighters that he needs a date. He can't just be. He doesn't live in the gym. He can't just be like, look at me, I'm in the gym. He needs something to think. I've got this date. I'm gonna now. You know what I mean? And
do you not think though that like
activities doesn't the world of good?
A lot of people, professional boxers or your general, I don't even want to say athletes, just people like you need something to focus on. Like obviously, like last year I did the Great North Run, and now I can't think of anything worse than going out for a run and
just because you've got no
there's no motivation whatsoever. And as a pro boxer, yes, there's an expectation of you that you're going to stay in shape.
Some people do. Some people live in the gym.
Some naturally do, and some naturally don't. Whether you sort of, I think, as I say, there's that pro expectation that because you're a pro boxer, you love the gym and you love the fitness side of it and all the rest of it. And for some, it probably you love the fighting side of it, and the gym and staying fit and staying sharp and keeping in shape is probably a chore for them. And I think Saunders possibly is one of those sorts of people. He's got other things going on in his life, he's other interests, and it's not the priority that it maybe should be for a professional athlete, especially at the top level. You're talking elite level athlete. Yeah. But obviously, since he's sort of taken himself away from his home comforts and, as you say, moved to Sheffield, new trainer, new gym.
That's what he's needed.
Gym mates.
Good.
Yeah.
I think I'd like to think it's the best Martin Murray that turns up, and you know, I wish Martin well. I hope he puts up a good fight. I can't say anything other than Billy Joe Saunders point to win. To be honest with you, I don't think he stops him. I think. But
it depends what you've said there. It depends which version of Murray this is and what he's got left in the tank.
I hope it's up.
I think if he is getting towards the end, then Saunders could stop him probably later on. He's not going to do it with one punch. It'll be an accumulation.
Yeah, of tiredness and
tiredness counters one-sided action. But I think probably Saunders' wide points will be merely.
And another, obviously, it's a double world title card. Another one on that is another fighter that, not that I forgot existed, but just goes under the radar again, doesn't he? And that's Terry Flanagan. He's now got a shot at the vacant WBO world title. He's moved up now, hasn't he?
I'll tell you when I thought about him most recently. It was when I was compiling the pound for pound list, and we'll go on. And it wasn't that I totally forgot about him. It was I looked at the version that we'd done last year.
Yeah.
And he was in there. He was I think 6th or 7th in the list. And
did he make you 10 this time or not?
He didn't. He dropped down to the honourable mentions purely on the basis of I had to have a look.
I was thinking about him the other day
to see who he'd fought in that meantime, and I think because he's then vacated his title, he's moving up in weight. Obviously, looking now at the super lightweight title.
Well, that's it.
And you think,
do you know much about his opponent, this Hooker?
A little, not much. I think when he's been linked at lightweight with fights against the likes of Mikey Garcia, Linares, there was a lot made about that. And on Twitter, I know Terry's not normally the most sort of vocal boxer out there, but on Twitter he'd said something about was it the Linares fight was on the cards and it was pretty much in the pipeline, so he couldn't fight Garcia to then go from that, whatever position he was actually in, to now fighting against Maurice Hooker for the sort of vacant WBO title. Or is Hooker, did Hooker win it, or is it?
I think it's vacant this time.
I think it's still it, because it was Crawford's obviously. He's gone up. And it's just a bit underwhelming. I think that's a word you could use to describe most of Flanagan's career.
I think so. That's exactly the word I use for him. He was an underwhelming world champion because of who he fought and who he defended against, like Magdaleno and people like that. It just wasn't great.
He's one of many boxers who's been a world champion without really beating the top 10 opponents.
Totally agree. And that's it. That was.
Petrov was his most recent defence.
I think that's it.
That was his only fight last year, I think, or one of two.
I think, is it to do... is he a huge seller in Manchester?
Probably not.
Probably not.
Which is why the Crawler fight fell through, wasn't it? That was him and Matchroom's main reason for avoiding that fight, I think.
He's totally gone that one now, hasn't it? He's not really... You don't hear much from him. He's not really vocal. He's a man of few words. And honestly, when I seen it today, I was like, that's where he is, and that's what he's doing, because I knew he was going to step up and good on him. And good luck in this shot. I just, like you said, it's just underwhelming so far. Not underwhelming because he's been a world champion, but just that who he's fought.
Well, this is something I said. That's quite a common theme across British boxers. Like, as I say, trying to do that top 10 pound for pound list. It was one of the hardest things I've sat and done, trying to think, well, what has this boxer done to justify being above this? And there was obviously a bit of debate around it. There's always going to be. And who, considering the sort of brilliant year that boxing's had, especially in this country with some big fights and things,
it sort of passed them by a bit.
Well, him and others.
That's true.
Which boxers could you think have had a great 2017? Like Lee Selby, I think, is one of the most talented boxers in Britain, and obviously that's why he's in that list.
He just gets no look, does he?
But last year was again just sort of a couple of routine defences of his IBF title.
That's it. He's desperate for the fight, isn't he?
Like Frampton obviously had a nightmare year. He's hopefully going to kick on this year.
I will touch on him in a minute. Certainly.
Like Cal Yafai's a world champion, but again, has he had that defining?
No,
defense?
he hasn't. No, he hasn't. Nah, definitely not yet. And we've touched a lot on his last defence, which didn't really catch fire. But
the reason, like, if you look at the list, I had Ryan Burnett at number 2, and probably a lot of people think, well,
was he 3 or 2? 3.
Oh, 3. Sorry, yeah, he was. Yeah, I had him at 2 for a bit, and then I think
thinking you're wigging.
Honestly, the amount of times I swapped the boxers round in the order and things, and
he had a great year.
But that's what I mean. He went from British champion to unifying 2 world titles, and you think, what a year he's had. And I think over the course of that, and how talented I think he is, I think he's deserving of that number 3 shot.
It's funny because
slot ahead of some maybe more experienced boxers who haven't really progressed. They've almost stagnated, and I think Flanagan's definitely one of those.
This is what I'm going to touch upon. I've been brainstorming this week actually for another, when I finish my top 10 Northeast prospects list first, but I'm going to do a piece on, I think I'm going to list 10 fighters that 2018 is a big year for. You know what I mean? Like people who are maybe in different.
I was going to say, honestly, that top 10 list that I did, the pound for pound, could have been named that. Because I was at the end of every little section, I was thinking their position on this list depends on their next fight. They've got a big fight coming. They've got this. They've got an opportunity to prove themselves, and it was such a repeating theme throughout the thing.
I'm going to try and touch on 10 different fighters who are all who need a big 2018, basically, whether they're on the road back, whether they're coming back, whether they've been inactive, whatever. But he was definitely on there, and I think this is the year for Terry Flanagan. And you could probably file him with Bradley Skeet, but we'll talk about Bradley Skeet.
Honestly, you could do a top 20. Yeah, you could do a 20 on never mind 10.
Just 10 boxers that need a big 2018.
How high up that list would Amir Khan be?
That's seamless, because that's where I was about to go.
Probably
next.
The inspiration for that list.
Amir Khan's on the list. I wasn't going to do it in order, just but just as a list of people that do really need to kick on this year, and he's definitely one. And I think
you're surprised with the Matchroom signing?
Oh, massively high, but
I was at the time, and then
it sounds silly, but
you're not, because
no, you're not.
Anything can happen in boxing, and it makes sense that the Brook fight's nearer to happening just purely because they're both under in that umbrella now. He gets a lot of
haters, and I know you wrote a big letter basically about Amir Khan last year, but
I wouldn't even say that was
not
being a hater, because that was probably born out of frustration of being a fan. He's a similar age to us, and I think seeing him win the silver medal in Athens.
Yeah.
And as I say, being a similar age, it was just like, oh, who's this boxer? Like, and he got your attention. Obviously, his pro career. Like, you want him to do well, and yes, there's times when you think, oh, obviously because of his knockout defeats and things, you think,
yeah, that's it. That's the thing.
It's always on a knife edge which way he's going to go, but you still wished him well. And it was the point where he started chasing the Mayweather fight. That's what drove me so far against him. So. And just as you say, you're frustrated because there's a boxer there that could have ignored the Mayweather fight, had so many good competitive fights at 147 welterweight limit, but didn't seem interested just because he sort of saw himself as above these other contenders without having proved it.
On the surface, he's still an elite level fighter, isn't he? Well, is he? That's the thing that he has to
this is the big question mark.
But he's been in with a lot of good fighters. He could be. You know what I mean? A 3-fight deal with Matchroom.
I tell you what though,
surely that culminates in the Kell Brook fight now.
You'd love to think so, wouldn't you? I mean, there's the weight difference at the minute, but
if that doesn't happen by the end of 2018, then it'll
never.
But interesting to see who he fights on his comeback fight on the 21st of April.
If you think Amir Khan against the top welterweights in the world, you'd probably favour him to be competitive and to be winning before he gets clipped, and that's the story of his career.
That's the story of Amir Khan.
Obviously, I know the Canelo fight, he went up in weight and it was a different matchup.
You sort of forget that one,
but
can't you?
Keith Thurman, Danny Garcia, the rematch. Errol Spence, I think, would beat him. Probably the most handy out of those.
I think so. Would he beat Peterson, do you think, now?
I think he'd
arguably
beat Peterson the first time. I don't think he did. I think one of the few, with the point deductions, which I think were justified. At least one of them was. Khan was holding and pushing and stuff, and the ref warned him. Whether you agree with the ref warning him about it, the ref did warn him.
Yeah, that's right.
It was a close fight. Yeah, you could argue he could have won. You argue with the points off, he lost. I think he beats him now. I think
it's nice that
Thurman would be a good fight. Probably slightly favour Thurman at the minute, just over recent sort of active. Not that Thurman's been particularly active, but recent level of competition, shall we say? Probably give him a good shot at beating Garcia. If he
Well, that's it, you would.
And again, it's the biggest if in boxing. If you can keep the concentration and avoid getting caught flush, which he seems incapable of doing at times.
It's nice that he's actually now, sounds daft, but he's confirmed that he is still a boxer and this is what he wants to do, because he got met with a lot of ridicule, I guess, before he went in the jungle. You know what I mean?
Oh, rightly so. It was ridiculous.
And all that he would do was shout off about Mayweather or Pacquiao or whoever, and it was just like, at least now you know he's going to get a 3-fight He's going to get a 3-fight deal with Matchroom, and he's going to have fights where
there's a bit of structure there.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what direction. That's what he needed. Whether all three will be in the UK, I don't know. But at least he's come back. It's Liverpool. It's 21st of April.
From what he said, the noise he's made seems that he is. He's talking about Liverpool, and then.
Do you think it'll be a similar type of, Brooks Scott? He's not going to fight an elite fighter. Let's not kid himself. It's a regular Sky Sports show.
I think with Khan, it could be a decent name. Somewhere I know.
Eddie Hearn said there was a list of 15 names that got sent to Virgil Hunter, and I think he was naming people like Sammy Vasquez and people like that on there.
Josecito Lopez was on there. So there's decent names that are recognisable to boxing fans, but the Khan should be beaten, and that's where we need to be at, because there's no point in him coming in against some pudding that he's going to blow out in a couple of rounds. That won't prove anything to anyone, really. Not to Khan, not to the fans, not to Virgil Hunter, not to obviously Eddie Hearn, who's going to be looking with interest. Adrian Broner got mentioned as possibly being like the second fight of the three, or even the third.
You see Broner come to Liverpool, in it?
Well, that's what I mean. The way Khan was talking, he was wanting to bring big names over here. So I think part of the, I don't know the ins and outs, but I think part of the deal is to have Khan fighting over here for a bit and continue to build on his jungle success.
Does it link with Matchroom USA? You know what I mean?
Potentially, yeah. I mean, it's not a bad shout, actually. He could end up over there.
But no, it is. It's good to see him back. It's good to give him a fight date, because he's been inactive for too long, and I guess his stock hasn't been it's never been. People know his name again now, coming out of the jungle, and it's daft, but they do. And he'll get good figures on that night. And I know, I just want to touch on this, that there's been a lot of toing and froing on Twitter and stuff about the date clash between Amir Khan and obviously Carl Frampton and Nonito Donaire in Belfast. Frank Warren, Eddie Hearn. I think Eddie just totally rebuffed it the other day with Cougar and Cassius, just saying, look, we had this date. They moved their
48
date
minutes before an IFL mention this week.
IFL mention, and it was just Eddie Hearn was like, well, we'll smash them in numbers and stuff, and he says, all right, it's not ideal, he gets that, but it's happened for whatever reason.
I don't necessarily buy that. I think it could be avoided.
It probably could have been, but
I know we're looking here, and it is a busy start.
He said, "What do you want me to do? Ring Frank? Go? Are you going out on the 21st, Frank? Have you got anything lined up?" And he's like, "Well, they're not going to ring me and say they've got so."
Well, no, but one of them should have known.
I think you're probably going to look.
Which one got announced first?
Frampton got announced first, but. I don't know.
I know it's not. If it gets announced a couple of weeks, then the wheels are clearly in motion for Matchroom as well.
I thought Frampton was going to go on the 7th, but moved it. I don't know.
With the different arenas and things, they can say, right, well, can we provisionally hold 2 weekends?
That's it.
We'll see what happens, and then we'll confirm near the time.
It is a shame because
right now, from the tickets being released, does it necessarily matter to the Echo Arena whether it's the 21st or the 28th? I mean, yes, they might have something else on, so from that point of view, it would impact
it.
That's
it,
but you'd like to think that, yes, they're rivals, and can they not? As you say, what is to stop them? It'd be mutually beneficial. They're going to half the number of viewers, because people are going to be channel hopping, hoping it doesn't clash.
Which it will.
Which inevitably it will.
Yeah.
You're going to have... And I think it was it New Age Boxing, one of the podcasts I've listened to this week, I think it was them, we're talking about this, and obviously you've got your Irish demographic going to be watching Frampton, or more interested in that generally.
I really like that.
English, Khan, then you're looking at where are the Scots going to go, where are the Welsh going to, your viewing figures, exactly, going to lean towards Khan, but then I think a lot will depend on his opponent. I don't think the Donaire fight's
It's brilliant. It's a name. It's a washed up Donaire.
I think it's a name that you'd expect Frampton to beat.
I loved Donaire a few years back. He was a hell of a fighter in Nonito Donaire.
Oh yeah, you're talking he was pound for pound top 3 at one point. I think definitely up there.
Frampton needs to look
in the
good,
mix,
but he needs to,
I think it's an opponent that's tailor made for him to look good.
His last
As
fight,
you say, his best days are far behind him.
It is, and he needs to this time. His last fight was, I think, Horatio Garcia, wasn't it? And he didn't look great.
I think with Donaire, it's the best of both worlds in that it's an opponent who's past his best, and Frampton's capable of beating him and stopping him. But it's a big enough name that it should motivate Frampton to do that. He's not going to be taking cutting any corners or not that he saying he was last time, but he's had that fight to blow the cobwebs off. This one has got to build momentum and go out and make a statement.
There's 3 cracking undercard fights announced this week for that. Off the top of my head, I can't remember.
There's a lot of obviously the Irish boxers on.
The MTK Global have just basically put 6, I think, of 6 Irish fighters basically against each other. There's some cracking ones in there. John O'Call's on there.
I know we talk about Okoli and like the 50-50, and I say those that undercard is sort of that level. So to your knowledgeable boxing fans, you're going to be impressed with those fights.
No, that's it.
They're the sort you want to see, and like, especially as you're saying, if they're catering that to the Irish market, it's almost, you look back to when Frampton was with Matchroom, and has Hearn missed a trick? Because he seemed to think that the Belfast cards weren't profitable, they weren't manageable.
This is a stepping stone, isn't it, really, now for Frampton to get that big summer fight in Windsor Park that he's after, against... Well,
it is, but then this is a great one for Warren and for the sort of the BT side of it, to really get and cement the Irish support. Like, they've got Frampton, who's obviously signed with MTK.
It is, yeah.
We've seen a lot of the MTK boxers in the flesh. Obviously, you've got John O'Carroll, Declan Geraghty.
Well, that's just touching on John O'Carroll there. That's the 3 fights that I just mentioned. You've got John O'Carroll versus Marco McCullough, which is a good fight.
We saw McCullough against Isaac Lowe, wasn't it? And was he on the Frampton undercard last time?
Frampton Quick undercard. You've got Tyrone McKenna against Phil Sutcliffe Jr. and you've got Conrad Cummins against Luke Keeler as well. So
it was the Cummins and Keeler one that got a bit of interest for me.
Obviously
Cummins was.
I've always took an interest in Cummins because of
Frampton, and then he's gone the same way Carl has. He's another one that you could say needs a big 2018. Is he going to make that step up to the next level?
That's it,
it's a good test from that.
He's an interesting character, him, Conrad Cummins. I like him though, he seems a nice fellow as well, but I think it'd be interesting to see how he goes this year. But no, good to see 3 fights announced on the same day just for the undercard, and I think it's nice to see BT's now putting these fights together, isn't it? It's a shame again about the clash, but I guess we'll have more of these. I think you're talking there, Billy Joe Saunders that night, 14th, and I'm sure Matchroom are going to go again that night, maybe with Katie Taylor and things. So I don't know. It's maybe we'll have to get used to more clashes in future now.
I mean, looking down this list, like I know we've got some international fights on here, but most of the dates you've got 2 or 3 in some cases. I think cards on the same sort of night. I know, as you say, a lot of them are later on in America, but.
You're looking there 3rd of March, Josh Taylor on terrestrial, Channel 5 against Humberto Soto. A few naysayers on Twitter this week saying, it's a bit underwhelming and they expected better since, after his last fight against, who's his last opponent?
Miguel Vasquez. When he was the first one to stop him.
Which I thought was a bit harsh, really. I think it's just another stepping stone fight for Josh. Again, just like you were saying before, about Danae, really. It's probably a wash up or past his best.
You've got to think as well. I firmly believe that they were lining up Yigit to fight Taylor, and then Yigit on the live show put in a total curveball, saying that Taylor there talking to him as sort of in his punditry role, and it's been a great fight, and then Yigit turned around and said, well, actually, I'm planning on moving back down to lightweight, and you think, well, why would Cyclone put Yigit on a show in the UK?
I forgot about that.
Other than to build him up as a potential Taylor opponent for the European title. So I get that, yes, you think, well, he's beat Davis, he's beat Vasquez. Soto still would be the second best name on his record, behind Vasquez probably.
100%.
And unless he's going to get in with it for a world title, you think, well, he's not going to be fighting any more 50-50 fights, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
and it's not what you want to see as a fan, but you're going to guide him very carefully towards that world title and stepping up slightly and having that mixing in with that sort of higher calibre of opponent.
Definitely. It's good to see him in the Hydro as well, big venue in Glasgow as well, and just onwards and upwards in it.
We love.
He's just building and building.
North of the border for our shows. I'd love to. We've said this before, and we've spoke with the press guys at Cyclone. We'd love to get up to that one.
Especially with Glenn Foot on the undercard as well.
That adds up to a bit of local interest.
I love that fight, mate.
We were just saying off record that we were discussing loads, and we haven't really touched on the North East.
No, we haven't.
We probably will more next week. I think a bit more.
More next week and probably more in February as well. I think the first North East show isn't until the 25th of Feb.
Yeah,
we'll give that a good plug. Obviously, next week I'm going to hopefully finish that top 10 North East fighters for people to keep an eye on for 2018. So yeah, we'll touch on that. But Glenn Foot, over the moon for him. I think he's got a cracking opportunity. Because I think people after the Josh Leather fight were saying maybe this is is this the end of Glenn Foot? But
I think more so before the fight. I think after the fight they were saying he's
that's true. I don't mean ability wise. I just mean where does he go?
He hasn't got that rubber the green, and
to get a Commonwealth title shot on a big bill like that is fantastic.
That promises to be an absolute war for anyone who missed the Josh Leather fight. Isn't familiar with Glenn Foot. Try and again, you're going to be channel hopping to avoid the Brook Rabchenko undercard.
Yeah.
But I'd be surprised if there's a better fight on the night than Glenn Foot against Jason Easton.
Same, I think, because I've seen Easton before and I like him. He's a good boxer, but I've seen him in some wars against even, I don't want to say journeyman, but opponents that he probably shouldn't be in wars against.
Was it Jamoy he fought?
It was.
Really dig deep in that one. So
and Glenn only boxes one way, and that's coming forward.
I think the styles will mesh really well. I think it's a very action-packed fight.
Fair play for getting that off the ground. That's a great fight. But yeah, it's just, it's another building block for Josh Taylor, isn't it, as he works his way towards a world title. And
I think some great strides. That's his only destination.
Yeah.
He's an absolute class act. And
love him. Huge fan.
I think with the backing of McGuiggins, and again, there's obviously going to be a lot of debate about what's going on with Carl Frampton, but they got Frampton to a world title, and there's no reason they won't be able to do the same for Taylor.
I think so. I think everything's in place, isn't it? His opponents are progressing nicely. He dismantled Howard Davis, and he's just going on, and he's being moved nicely. I wouldn't say he's not being rushed, but he's progressing, and
he's
not messed.
He's fringy world level. He's had 11, 12
fights, but he's beat everyone well as well. Do you know what I mean?
Comfortably.
He's class, and it's why hold him back. I think.
And I know that a lot of the Scottish lads that we speak to, sort of when we go to the shows, and that they can't speak highly enough of him, both on a personal level and as a boxer. And it's nice when you see someone like that get that level of success.
Yeah. Well, that's it. No, he's a top lad, and I think he's a nice fellow as well. So just onwards and upwards, and I look forward to watching his journey really. So that's a clash on the 3rd of March. What else we've got? What do you want to talk about?
Do that one, 3rd of March. Brook Rabchenko. Brook, ironically, you probably not thank me for saying this, is in a similar position, a similar place to Amir Khan.
Totally.
He's obviously coming off the back of I wouldn't say a nightmare year, but it wasn't. He's had
didn't go according to plan, did it?
What was his last fight? Was
that Spence?
I know, when was that?
Oh, May,
yeah.
From the lane, wasn't it?
That's what I mean. So then he's coming back off the injury. He's been inactive. He's another one on my list where I was like, well, from what he's achieved, he probably deserves to be in the top 10. But then I was like, well, actually, he's had one good win over Sean Porter, and whether he can say he moved up in weight against Golovkin, he's lost his 2 biggest fights.
Finally moved up as well to 154. And he needed to, didn't he?
I think
to get a new division, and
it could give him a new lease of life. But the acid test is going to be when he gets punched in the face.
Well, that's it.
And that sounds like an absolute stupid thing to say. Talking about a professional boxer wanting a world title, but obviously the surgery he's had and the injuries he's had, he's only going to get tested when he's in there with someone who can pack a bit of power and land on him.
I totally agree.
Whether Rabchenko is that man, I doubt, but
just to continue, not Matchroom loving, but I think you need to give praise where praise is necessary, really, for Matchroom made a blistering start in 2018. And I just think,
without doubt, I mean, I'm probably more critical of them and more cynical of Matchroom than you are.
How could I, you are?
But even I have to sort of talk about that and say,
looking down the list here,
put some cracking shows on.
What I meant is just even undercards as well, like Gamalia fight, Gavin McDonald, what a cracking fight that is. You know what I mean? Like,
one of the fights I was more surprised that got put on. And I think McDonald coming off the back of his loss, Hearn would probably rather you 5-1. And
a major criticism of Matchroom, and rightly so, is the decreasing standard of this Saturday night fight night. Do you know what I mean? And this,
anything half decent seems to get slapped on pay-per-view.
It is, and all the undercards aren't great and stuff, but that's a cracking fight, And just touching before, Sean Dodd, Tommy Coyle, I know it's not groundbreaking by any means, but it's a pretty good fight on the Amir Khan.
No, that's one again, and I refer. I love to use the term hardcore, but your knowledgeable boxing fans, the ones who obviously know a bit about the sport, they'll appreciate that sort of fight because I think it'll be a good little scrap.
Not that we've got inside info here, but I think I might be wrong on this, but I think Lewis Ritz and Scotty Cardle may well be on that show as well, which is confirmed maybe next week.
See, unofficially, we were sort of led to believe that Ritz and Coyle was in line to happen on the Hay Bellew card. But obviously before that got rearranged, and then since that's gone away, obviously Coyle's then got the Dodd fight. So
and there has been whispers up here that it's going to be Cardle, and I think
it's a good fight.
Having those 4 on the same card, right? Not, I don't want to say it's a mini tournament, but
it is. Why not?
Why are the winner not fight each other?
Why not have that as a semi-final? British and Commonwealth.
British and Commonwealth, and the winners fight each other and stuff. And I think there's good fights to be made.
One of those that seems too logical. It makes too much sense for boxing.
But it's easy for Eddie Hearn to do.
Because the Ritson Cardinal fight was obviously the one that was anticipated.
It's a shame that it doesn't.
Obviously, Robbie Barrett to upset Cardinal, so it makes sense. It's good fight for both.
Completely does. Doesn't look like a match we're going to come up here. Which is a shame, really, but not.
Yeah, that was heavily rumoured for that sort of time, wasn't it?
But we go, it's a good fight that, and just to continue, the matchroom thing, and just making good Saturday night fight nights. Another one's Dillian White, Lucas Brown. You know what I mean? Cracking. How's that not going to be any good?
That's it. No,
the first conference was brilliant.
Well, that's another thing. It's a good fight between two evenly matched fighters at a similar level.
Yeah,
and I think the BT deal with Frank Warren is seemingly provided a bit of a kick up the arse. That matchroom may be needed. Yeah. They've got some genuine competition.
Yeah.
You can debate whether BT Sport and Warren have made the most of it so far.
Getting there, but there's a couple of cards. I don't
know. You spoke on Twitter, I think, about the
I think it was the 10th one. I think
Alpha Barrett all fighting lackluster opponents. Really.
That's it. I think once the Tete fight was off, the world title fighting. Basically, it's quite underwhelming, that one. It's just
But the fact that there's a big money rival there is providing enough of a spark, hopefully, for both of them to try and up the game a bit.
They've came out flying, and especially, fair play to both, and long may it continue. That's what we need, isn't it? Competition. I think one more fight that really caught both. To be honest, was the Oscar Valdez Scott Quigg. World title fight.
That was the one I was going to talk about first. I
totally forgot about him. Class.
We both watched Valdez his last outing.
Who was that against again?
His name escapes me.
Because we both had money on Valdez. Remember that?
We both desperately wanted to win, thinking, this is going to be comfortable, and
then he got put down.
Genesis Savannah,
that's the one.
And he got dropped hard and heavily, and you thought,
oh god.
And then the next round he dropped Savannah, and
that was a great fight.
Turned into a good little war.
I think it was on the Gilberto Ramirez last year.
It was, He talked about Glenn Foot only knowing how to fight one way, and Valdez is of a similar ilk. He's obviously a higher level. He's sort of world champion at the minute, and has the top rank back end as one of their sort of future stars.
Yeah, definitely.
But again, him against Scott Quigg, that could prove to be two boxers wanting to go head to head and getting in the pocket and trading, and it has the makings of a real fan-friendly encounter.
And I think I remember Eddie Hearn saying last year that Quigg was sort of in a good position where he was just waiting in the wings, really, just to see what popped up. He was in this house now popped up, and I think it's a great fight for him.
I think it's a winnable fight.
It's a way. Quig's never going to be a massive seller at Manchester Arena, whatever, on his own. He's based in America now. It makes sense for him to go over there. I think it's California, maybe I'm wrong. But anyway.
I think you'll attract a few fans with that one. As I say, it'll be one that
good fight,
it'll be an entertaining fight. But Valdez has shown that, not just in the last fight, but he has shown that he can be susceptible. He could be
100%.
Quigg will be going over there as the underdog, and rightly so, but he'll be going over there confident that he can to get a second world title in 2 weights.
I completely agree. I think it's a cracking fight for him. I think I'm really looking forward to that one a lot on the 10th of March. Because there's rumours that Quigg was going to leave Matchroom. I heard. I don't know where.
I think it's probably just stemmed from the inactivity and the fact he hasn't really been pushed with Matchroom. He hasn't. Until the Monaco card recently, he hadn't really boxed in a while.
Well, that's it.
He was on an AG undercard, quite far down the sort of the pecking order.
Another one that had maybe been drifting a bit since he's Phantom lost, not drifting, but putting the pieces back together.
Obviously, he's changed training.
Yeah,
you're always going to take time to adjust to that, and we've mentioned before about Scott Quigg going to America. That's probably been quite a big decision for him, and again taking time to adjust and to acclimatise. So yeah, basically, I think it's another fight that we're looking forward to, and it's a cracking opportunity for Quigg.
First major fight of the year, I guess, tomorrow night.
I'm buzzing for this one.
Actually, you've just got Box Nation. He's today.
Subscribe now, Frank.
No more streaming for this lad. Errol Spence.
I've just left Team Stream.
Errol Spence, Lamont Peterson. Box Nation, New York tomorrow.
I've been set to record and watch it on Sunday morning.
Tomorrow evening. Spence Peterson. I was sort of doing me nutting on Twitter the last couple of weeks, going, any UK coverage of Spence Peterson yet? When you just sort of won a boxing fight.
Yeah, that's the thing, because I think
there's been nothing of note on since Billy Joe Saunders, I guess.
We've sort of switched off. I mean, there's a couple of Japanese fights that were sort of available on YouTube and stuff. And it's one of those. It's one of those that I was like, I know of them in Inui's fought and stuff, and you're like, There's no reason I can't sit and watch those. I need a boxing fix.
Yeah.
And I haven't got around to doing it. I'm at that level short of hardcore.
There's been I guess a month and a bit since Billy Joe Saunders fought against Lemieux, and it was just, I was like, is no one taking Errol Spence in the UK? Is no one going to put it on? And obviously,
especially having his last. Well, that's criminal as well. By the way, we're talking about British fighters being inactive. In fact, his fight that he won, and his last fight was Kell Brook.
Did I say on Twitter the other day that he hasn't really got a promoter and stuff? He's just sort of...
No, because he got offered the Cotto fight if he would sign with Golden Boy, and he said no. He's happy with sort of Al Heyman as his advisor, fighting on, I think, predominantly the BBC cards over there. But because of that, he doesn't feel the need for a promoter, which is nice to see.
But no, I was pleased to see Box Nation have finally confirmed it this week. I think there's another good fight on the undercard, another world title fight. Oh, the name's escaping me now. Is it Easter? I can't remember. I can't even remember who's on the undercard now.
Easter Jr. Is that?
I think so. I'll double check that. But no, it's a good fight. It's a good name for Spence. Obviously, he's the favourite, and I expect
Robert Easter Jr.
It might be. It was Jermaine Easter used to be a centre forward for Wigan Wanderers.
I was like, why is that name in my head?
How do I know that? Sam, Jermaine Easter. Who else did he play for?
That's a Championship manager shout right there. Football manager, that one.
Go on, give us two of these other clubs. Jermaine Easter.
I'm thinking of. I'm going for him.
Jermaine Easter. Was he at Forest? Was he? This is going off. Like, we are quite weird.
Yeah, we're going off in a total tangent here, but this is doing my head in now.
Wait, what am I Googling?
I'm thinking of Ipswich, but that was Jermaine Wright, the midfielder.
Why am I thinking of...
I love that wasn't a random name. I was like, why is Jermaine Easter Jr. popping me head? Robert Easter Jr., get on track.
You look at the undercard. Jermaine Easter is a former Welsh international footballer who played as a striker, most recently for English club Bristol Rovers. He's now 36.
Bristol Rovers, there you go.
Why did I say Wickham? He was at Wickham between 2006 and 2008, but why is that the one that came in my head?
Football manager days then, must be.
Hartlepool, Cambridge, Stockport, Wickham, Plymouth, Millwall.
I can confirm that Robert Easter Jr., Jermaine's brother, is fighting Javier Fortuna for the IBF flyweight title. No, that was his last one.
He actually had 12 World Cups.
Oh, right, so anyway, no, that is his next one.
Stop talking about Jermaine Easter. Yes, Robert Easter is on the undercard, isn't he?
He is, and he's coming off the back of a unanimous decision over Denis Shafikov, which I think he won, but it got scored very widely in his favour, which sort of cast a bit of doubt over it. Right. So, well, yeah, I'll be watching the card whether I stay up for it or record it.
I'll be tuning in.
I'll give me thoughts on that one.
And basically, I think we both expect Spence to win it. I think a late stoppage, and I think you think that as well.
I think possibly earlier. I think Matisse knocked out Peterson, caught him cold a bit.
Yeah.
I think Peterson's been in some. We obviously mentioned the Khan fight. He's been in some tough fights. He's at that stage of his career where is he almost cashing out? Is this a payday for him? And I think Spence,
good name on his resume, innit? Another name,
Spence is one of the best in the world at the minute.
Without doubt that.
I'm not going to go hypocritical and say that I've been a massive fan of him. I've always sort of liked him, what I've seen of him.
Same, I didn't know much until...
Brook to beat him just based on, I thought, home advantage. I thought Brook goes the distance and it's close, Brook will get the nod. But Spence, impressed me that night. He obviously did well boxing, and it was to and fro for a bit, and he's worked to the body. I think as much as anything got
special that night when he was good.
And again, I think the same. I think he'll target Peterson's body, break him down, and it wouldn't surprise me if he does it within 6 rounds.
It's just another good name on the resume, isn't it? As he probably builds up. Hopefully builds up to some real sort of fights.
It's a good enough fight to win, and as you say, have that name. And then hopefully he's just going to be more active. You've got to be looking a few months down the line. You've got Danny Garcia, who's fighting Brandon Rios, isn't he, in February?
He is February the 17th.
So say he wins that, then potentially him against Spence, another good fight.
Brandon Rios had chucked it as well. I didn't know he was still going.
I think he had for a while.
He had for a bit, But basically it's full steam ahead really from this Saturday, 20th, and you've got credit to Box Nation as well. I think it is a great channel, and it used to have its knockers, I guess, but less so now since BT came in. But Box Nation, just solely them.
In terms of the international coverage, brilliant. The second to none.
Second to none. You've got next week. You've got Linares. You've got Matisse on there as well next week. 3rd of Feb, Ramirez.
Sky pick up.
Anchor Haas back again. They've just announced Rhea Beltran on the 16th of Feb. It's like a Friday night. It's like, well, that's going to do. Come on, why not? Love it. So. it's great for them to provide the international coverage as well, and great to have big time boxing back this weekend. And I think I'll be tuned in, whether it's live Saturday night or Sunday morning. I haven't yet decided. Depends what I do tomorrow night.
Yeah, that always
depends what I do with the Newcastle game. How many they concede, but no, we'll see. But no, it is great, and I think I'll stick me neck. I'll go for a late Spence Stockbridge.
Wow.
We'll see.
Prediction.
Stockbridge between 10 and 12. That's a prediction.
Right, so we'll wrap that up there.
Pleasure. Nice to be back.
I enjoyed it. Yeah, we'll be back next Sunday. That's the aim anyway. So
yeah,
we'll recap anything that's gone on in between. We'll probably talk a little bit about the Spence fight, even though it'll be a week.
Yeah, and then
past and
preview Corey Chamberlain.
Yeah, be a bit more detailed in what we're doing, but we'll just try to sum up pretty much everything that's going on, everything we've missed since.
That's it. No, but again, great to be back, and thank you for all your your well wishes. We're still here. Don't worry, we're going nowhere yet.
Going strong.
Thank you.